everybody, I'm so glad you're here. Today I'm going to do 4 really fast, easy projects. So if you have gifts to make or a lot of them and time is a factor, then these projects might just be for you. And if you have to go somewhere and get dressed up and you need a new piece of jewelry really fast, I think you're going to love this. So the first one that I'm going to do is like the easiest of all. I'm going to do a bracelet and then I'm going to do an earring to match. And I have these little silicone slider blank bracelets. They have these really cute little cubic zirconia drops, but you could open this jump ring and put something else there if you wanted to put a coordinating bead. And then you have these 2 little loops here that you can attach. And so these are adjustable. They fit anybody, one size fits all. And I'm going to do one of my favorite beads in the world. I have one of these check glass flower bricks. It's embossed on both sides, and this one is onyx with a gold wash, and it's just absolutely stunning. So I'm going to make my first little component in the middle with 20 gauge wire, and then I'm also going to add in some crystals with an AB finish, and I made a little component, and I'm going to put one of those on each side. So you can really design your bracelet bar, for lack of a better word, any way that you want. And then I have a double bead cap that's filigree. It's got this little cage, and this was an assortment. There was like 6 or 8 different patterns, and I have just loved working with those. I'll put a link in the description box for those, and I have another bead. And so this is the earring that goes with. So I just did one of my flower beads with the filigree on the top and a crystal nestled down inside. You can see the flash of the AB, and then it's an all-in-one ear wire, and I did this long swooping curvy ear wire. So these are just fabulous. I just think they're, what is more elegant than black and gold and crystal? Oh my goodness, maybe popping in some pearls. So that's going to be the first little set, and those of you that have been here before, you probably already guessed that I was going to grab my one-step looper. So I have a little piece of 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to pop that in the tool, but totally you can make your simple loops with your pliers if that's the way you prefer to make them. But when I have, you know, a lot of things to do, or when I want to get things done fast, this tool is my go-to. Everybody has their own ways of doing things though. Okay, that's done, and now I need to turn my flower bead into a component as well. And then this is like the most simple connecting project. I'm going to have a bracelet in what, 5 minutes or less. If I wasn't talking to you guys, I would probably even be able to do it faster than that. Okay. And now it's just literally a matter of connecting. So I'm going to open this loop, and I always put my pliers on all my loops and work hard in them. I just can hardly connect without doing that. Okay, I'm just going to pop one bead component onto the next. This is like a micro mini beaded chain because it's only 3 beads. You could also do like a bracelet bar, like take a whole row of crystals and just do them, like line up some crystals, any color, on a piece of wire, put your simple loops on each end and do a bar in between. You could do really anything that you like to make these little bracelets. And I will put a link in the description box for the blanks. They come in gold and silver. If I could find copper, I would definitely get those. I would love to see it in copper. I've never found them in copper, but I'll put a link for these. So if you need to make product for a website, or you need a lot of gifts, you know, if you're going to a hostess thing or something, this is just so fast, and it's, you know, not indicative. The speed at which you can make it is not indicative of the beauty and how stunning and elegant it is. Okay, so I'm going to just attach this to each side of the blank. Open that jump ring, or not jump ring, that simple loop. And you could use jump rings here, but just going to make sure Everything is closed really well. This will look like fine jewelry. My smaller pliers for these little loops. This will look like fine jewelry when it's connected, especially if you really take your time and baby your loops. And I just want to connect so that it's not twisted. So I kind of hold mine like that. Close it really well and work hard in it. And my first little bracelet is done. So we just pull the slider bead down, slip it on, and just push that slider bead up to make it the size you want. Look at that. I just think that is gorgeous. And that's one of my favorite bead shapes. And I just chose this really elegant colorway. And just that fast, that bracelet is done. And these are really easy to take on and off. And like I said, they fit anybody. So this is like the coolest little fast gift. And so let's jump to the earring. One more look at my earring. Super simple. I'm going to take a longer piece of 20 gauge wire and I'm going to put my bead on. And I'm going to come down to leaving myself enough space to wrap. Let me show you the back. To wrap the wire up the back and just do one wrap around this core wire. So that should be about right. Of course, that's going to vary. And you know, you don't have to wrap it to the back. I mean, you can do it so that it's facing you and then turn it so that you can really see what you're doing instead of wrapping it up the back. So I'm just going to get that wire right across that bead and get my thumb and my finger over it nice and tight. And then it won't show which direction I wrapped in, but I'm just going to bring that wire, hug it around the bead, and just bring it around. Just one really good wrap. And come back here and snip. And I'm just going to tuck it, make it nice and tight around the core wire. And then I'm going to do two little bends in the back. I'm going to put my pliers over my wire and give it a slight twist. And I'm going to come right here to this one and give that one a slight twist. Hold it tight. Okay, so I got my little bends on the back. And now it's really secure in there. Smooth that wire. So now my bead is really secure in my wire and I can design my earring. So I just played around with this assortment. I wanted to cover that little wrap and it fits really well over the top of my bead. And then to stabilize it, a clear crystal rondelle with an AB finish just nestles right down inside of there. And then I'm going to look at the front of my earring, making sure it's really straight and that it's the front, and I'm going to bend this wire toward me pretty drastically. And what that does, it acts as a stopper for the bead. And then I used my crazy big bail plier and I wrapped around the smallest mandrel or the smallest section of this bail. And that's what gave me that contemporary, swooping, elegant, dramatic, I love this. I've done a few of these earrings for me and they're just wonderful. Okay, and once I see that everything is lined up and straight, I'm just going to bend it. I'm going to bend it all the way back to touching and then let it go. It bounces back and it's just perfect. And then my measurement for cutting was right at the top of my bead. So I just lined up my cutters and cut right at the top of my bead. And then I'm going to come with my flat nose pliers to finish the look by lining up the wire inside the flat nose plier, straight, and kick that out. And look at that stunning, stunning, stunning earring. The ear wire being all in one is really cool and contemporary, but it just adds to the geometry of a brick rectangular shaped bead, and the embossing is secured facing forward but not obscured with a lot of wire and wraps and things like that. So if you find a bead that you really love, this is a great design to feature it. Put my wire rounder over where I've cut. Do that until my cut feels not like craft wire. That's the point. Jewelry item number 2 is done, and so gorgeous. What a set. For me, a bracelet and earring set is just the bomb. That's what I love to wear. Okay, so back to silicone. I have ordered a whole spool of gold stainless steel ball chain. I think we're really used to seeing this very casual in silver with dog tags. Maybe that's the most common, or making keychains and things out of it. But in this gold, it's so lovely. And I have a whole assortment of silicone stoppers, double ones, silver ones, gold ones, the little end, the stops, the terminators, they're called. And so what I've done is cut a length of ball chain that is what I want. It's long. It just goes around my neck, and I have slid one side of my ball chain onto this double silicone connector. And then as my stop, a smaller, they come in all different sizes. So you need to match up your, whatever your chain is that's going through. And this one is secure, but it slides well over the ball chain, but it's secure. So once this is on, I can put this where I want it to stop. And I'm going to come around to this side and do the same thing. I'm going to feed this down through. That one silicone it's bigger than my chain, so it acts as like a spacer bar, kind of. It's really pretty. And then here is my other little bead with a silicone in the middle. And then I'm just going to push my chain through. Just push it through. Give it some oomph. There it goes. Not a lot of leverage on that first one, but you can get it. Like, really just match up your size so you don't struggle. And just pull that to wherever the other one is. I didn't realize that I had grabbed the wrong size. So I'm just going to look at it and decide which size I want to stay with. And I think I have to do the smaller one because the larger one would be competing for space and pushing that out. So let me pull this off and get down. I bought an assortment of sizes and I inadvertently grabbed the next size up. Okay, so this is an adjustable, like sliding lariat, I guess we call it a lariat, or kind of a Y necklace. And so you can just pull this. I like my two ends to be a little bit offset. And it's just going to pop over my head. It's really long, but it's going to hang like that. And I have my two ends offset. Now, for the ends, you can put anything you want. I was thinking these organic pink, hot pink quartz rocks. I've also been playing with some of my beaded beads and boho beads, and like I'm thinking to wire embellish this and have a little 3-tiered dangle for each side. And I wanted to show you my boho beads have a silver top and my piece is in gold. So you can just play around in your bead cap stash and just put another bead cap right on top of the one that's embedded in the boho bead to change that up. And then I just played around in my bead caps. I found another one that looks really great over my beaded bead. So that's what I'm going to do. And again, I'm going to come back with my one-step looper and just make these into components just like I did on the other one. Super fast. Just keep my tool in my hand, pop on my bead cap, pop on my beaded bead. my other bead cap. Put it back in the tool, this time through the guide hole. Get my simple loop in there. And that is ready to attach. Same thing on my other one, except this time I'll just be putting a bead cap right on top of the existing bead cap just to keep my piece all gold. And these are really malleable, so I just pushed it down a little bit so that it was really snuggled down to my bead, like really fit, just to spread out the prongs just a tiny bit on this. There we go. And I'm just going to connect one to the other. I've been seeing a lot of hot pink for the whole winter season instead of the traditional like red and green that we see at this time of year, or even that kind of blue, that kind of wintry icy blue. I've been seeing a lot of hot pink, and those of you that know me, you know I'm a pink girl and I totally love that. Okay, so what I have here are two little clamshell covers that fit my ball chain. These also come in different sizes, and I bought an assortment of sizes because I use this ball chain for other things besides jewelry. I love it for my bookmarkers, and it is so fun to create with these things. So this of course you can't attach anything to it because it's just a ball on the end. So what you do is lay this inside the clamshell and then close it. And what I have found is that's best, the easiest way to do it is to lay the clamshell on my beading mat, lay the ball in there. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And then just come with my pliers and just close it most of the way. And then you can pick it up and finish, make sure that it's closed. And also you want to make sure that those two loops are lined up so that you can fit your simple loop or your jump ring through that hole very easily, and just close that really well. And so now I have a really pretty little connecting spot on the end of my ball chain. So I'm going to do this side the exact same way. Perfect. Okay, let me zoom back out. Now I'm going to attach my little dangles that I made to each side. And again, I'm using 20 gauge wire, so let me see. That fits through there perfectly, but you could do a jump ring if you want more dangle, but I think that's really pretty. It just comes right off the necklace, and I'm going to attach this one to this side. And so what's fun about this is that there's not a lot of stringing, there's no crimping. Like, these are really fast to make. You just create your body of your necklace by sliding on your silicone and putting your clamshells on the end. And then you can put anything that you want on the end. You could just add a commercially made tassel to each side, or a beaded tassel, or even make a chain tassel. You can pick your favorite beads. You can do like just a little bit of a beaded chain with chunkier beads like I did here. You could go into your boho bead stash, and Jesse James Beads is famous for their boho beads, and you could do a different boho bead. It's a great way to showcase a special bead or an expensive bead, you know, or just a really colorful, bold one. And it's long enough that these hang low enough so that you can see your beads and play with them. I mean, I just love that design. But what I'm going to do on this one is use these hot pink quartz, and I'm going to do a really simple like wire embellishment. So I'm going to grab a length of 20 gauge wire. I'm just eyeballing it. It's about 10 inches. I'm going to do just a funky wire embellishment on this bead. I'm going to leave enough wire at the top to just get a simple loop or even maybe a little wrapped loop in there. And I'm going to come across the bottom here and just bend my wires up a little bit, and from here just hold it with my thumb and finger and just orbit the stone with the wire. Just like wrap it around, just get some wire presence on the bead. Just kind of following the natural path of the wire. I'm going to let it spiral around the top like that. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. Just, you know, just a little funky. You can choose which side you want. I like that. I'm going to bring this back around to the front here and just play with it. You can pull it down a little bit. Just a really fun, funky. And then I'm going to pop this back into my one-step looper. Could also do a wire wrapped loop here because we have a simple loop there, but it's 20 gauge wire, so I think I'll be okay with a simple loop. And for me, I just love the look of wire laying on my beads and on a really cool stone like that. I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to open the loop and add it to the bottom of one of my drops. Close it really well, work hard in it, and look how cool that is. It's really avant-garde and interesting and just textural because we're going from like a crystally frost, a seed bead beaded bead, a stone. Like literally you can do whatever you love on the bottom of these necklaces, and you don't need too many beads, you know, and you could put something really expensive at the bottom that you really want to feature, but you can also make these with really inexpensive but bold beads, you know, that just really a fun, just a great way to make a necklace. And like I said, time is of the essence. If you need to make a necklace fast for an event that you're going to, or like if you get invited somewhere and you need a hostess gift, you can whip these up pretty quickly. And if you know the person's favorite color, that's even better. Okay, on this one, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. On this one, I think I'm going to fold it straight up the back and go holding it tight with my thumb and forefinger, go around and come back up to the front, and maybe just do a little bit of orbiting with my wire. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I even like the back. And let's see, what do I want to do with my end? You can take a longer piece of wire, and if you're insecure about working with wire, these kinds of projects are amazing. They get you the feel of working with wire, but you also can't get it wrong because you're just doing an artisan organic wire wrap, you know, and you just really can't get it wrong. And so what I think I'm going to do here is just give this a bend. Also, if you warm the wire a little bit between your fingers and go slowly, you won't put unwanted kinks in your wire. But what I'm going to do is just try to tuck this under, and then I'm going to make a spiral with what's left over. Try to get a little space here and just slide that under. And of course, if you want to do this even faster and, you know, not do anything like this, you can just dangle your beads and, you know, be done there. But for something like this, I love to add a little bit of a handmade quality to the project, you know, by adding this wire laying on there. Okay, that looks great. And now I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and just make a little spiral right here in the middle. Just like that. Nylon jaw pliers are really great if you are doing anything like this because you can put a little pressure, snuggle your wire down to your bead. But look how cool that is. Just really cool. It's pretty front and back. If you feel like your bead is not tight enough, you can do that little lightning bolt, or if you want to add more character, grab your wire and just give it a twist. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I'll do one here. And I'm just going with how I'm feeling. Just, you know, look at that. It's so gorgeous. Either side is just gorgeous. And I just want to bend this a little bit, make a little adjustment. Maybe come back with my nylon jaw plier, flatten it a little bit more. Just absolutely gorgeous. I love that. I mean, that could be a pendant all in its own, but it's going to go on the other side. So I have one that's a little plainer, one that's a little bit busier, and I'll do the exact same thing. I'm going to come in with my one-step looper, push my situation right up to the edge, save that little scrap for another component, get my loop in there. Or you could wire wrap on that, but that is done. And it's so artisan, it's avant-garde, and it's one of a kind. And it definitely has that handmade artist quality, not machine made, not mass produced. And that was the point of doing this part so fast, but then adding a little special something, you know, handmade to the end. So this gorgeous piece is done. That is my third piece, and I am just crazy about it. I think it's gorgeous. I just think it's really fun, and it was fun to make, and it's fast, not a huge commitment in time or money or beads. You know, it's just really great. Okay, you guys, the next thing is you're gonna laugh. Oh, you really are gonna laugh. I am gonna link these for you. I found this collection of chains, and they are stainless steel, and they are gold plated, and they are supposed to be anti-tarnish. I can't speak to that, but they're anti-tarnish and supposed to be really long lasting and really strong and really beautiful. And I have several of them. I purchased several of them. Look at this oval link one. Isn't it gorgeous? That's the one that I used to make the extender chain on the bracelet that I'm wearing. So I will link these, but this one was really great for my double silicone slider. I was testing and I was able to get that double silicone slider on there really easily, and it's just got like the perfect tension. So I'm going to do another necklace in that style. I'm going to pull out of the camera and put this around my neck for my measurement. Get my older cutters to cut this because it is supposed to be stainless steel, and I think these are solid links. I don't believe you can open them. So I'm going to get my older cutters, my junkier ones, and cut. So, oh, I got it. So that way I'm not putting any divots or, you know, dulling my finer cutters. Okay. And so now, just going to make sure my chain is not twisted. Make sure it's nice and straight before you feed it through the silicone if you're doing this with me. And it's going to be the same thing. You're just going to push it through the silicone slider bead, just like that. And now you can grab a hold of it and just gently pull it through. There we go. Easy as can be. I mean, just easy as can be. And then this is also fully adjustable. You can put this up as a choker. You know, you put this around your neck and pull this down, and it's adjustable so it can go underneath a collared shirt. Like, you can make this fit almost any neckline, any garment, you know. So I just love that. And then you guys won't believe what I'm doing for a drop on this one. Last year I went to the Macy's sale after the holidays and everything, and I loved this jewelry finding on these earrings, and so I bought two pairs. I bought one pair that I actually wear as earrings, and I bought another pair to take apart so that I can put these little floral golden pearl balls, look how gorgeous they are, as a drop on the bottom. And then of course I will recycle the ear wires. So I'm going to disassemble this. I'm going to save the ear wires because those are perfectly good. And these are plastic pearls, and so I don't want to use them. I'm going to just toss them because they're plastic pearls. I would prefer to put a glass pearl on here, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a glass pearl. Okay, you guys, I paused and went shopping in my stash, and look at how this necklace is turning out. So one of my drops is done, and what I did is I have these European crystal spacers. They're large hole spacers, and I have these 18 karat gold plated flower bead caps, and I have one of those AB clear crystals, a check glass pearl, and two of my diamond cut gold filled jump rings that won't tarnish. And I'm just going to assemble this and make my drop. So I put my leaf or like little flower petal bead cap, and then my pearl, and then I put the crystal large hole spacer on top, and then the crystal rondelle kind of snuggles right down inside to stabilize it, and it's just such a pretty drop. It's so elevated from the commercially one that, you know, the way it was done. I just loved this finding, but you know, I wanted not plastic pearls and just a little bit better quality, and I just love doing this because, like I said, anything at all that you want to put on your drops, from tassels to any kind of a charm. If you wanted to bead your own beaded bead, if you do handmade boho beads like I do, that's just great. So I am going to bring in a little plastic dish and put an anti-tarnish coating on the rondelle spacer here, and also on my little balls that I got. So I use the Permalac protective coating, and I use the semi-gloss for things that I want to sparkle. So like these little crystals here, let me show you how simple this is. These little crystals do not get clouded when you brush the semi-gloss over them. And I'm just getting a good coating like on the gold of my European spacer because it's just plated metal and I want it to last. So it's lovely. My other things here will not tarnish. I'm going to just let that sit there, and I'm going to, because there is gold around this flower ball, I am going to brush over the enamel, the gold, the pearls, and everything. And I'm going to use my pliers to just grab a hold of that loop and just take a second to get my anti-tarnish all over this, because it's a finding that I just love. And you know, sometimes in the marketplace I do buy jewelry that's made if I really like something and I want it, and these were on sale and I just wanted to work with them. So it's just fashion jewelry, which stylists will tell you that fashion jewelry is only meant to last one season, but that's just not good enough for me. So I brush this Permalac anti-tarnish coating on everything that's you know, that's just plated. It really makes it last. And you just get the little brush in there so that any of the metal that's showing will have that anti-tarnish coating. And let me just show you how cool it is. This is already dry just while I was chatting with you. And can you see the crystals are not clouded? They still sparkle. This is the best product that I have found for anti-tarnish. So I used to shy away from certain findings, but when I found that, now I can pretty much work with anything. And this is just so easy and fun. I'm going to open up one of my gold-filled diamond cut jump rings. These are really heavy duty, so they are great for application like this. If I can hold on to it. I'm just going to come to my last drop, put that jump ring on, put my little drop that I created on. And just that fast, my little flower ball is dry, and I'm going to attach that to the bottom of my drop. this piece is done, my fourth piece. And I have to tell you, if I wasn't like chatting with you guys and explaining what's in my head and where the ideas came from, this would even be faster. But these are beginner friendly projects, but still handmade jewelry and absolutely stunning, personalized to people's colors or their style, adjustable. Like, to me, this is all the things, and I love every single piece, but of course, you know, I chose my favorite things. So I hope you found some inspiration, or this gave you some ideas for some really easy but still artisan handmade pieces that you can make for the season. And I will put links in the description box to everything that I possibly can. When I edit, I create a list of the findings. So the silicone sliders, my cool new chain, anything at all that I can think of when I'm editing, it will be there. So tap more underneath the title of the video, and then more another time to see the entire description box. My favorite tools are always listed there, and a little box with my current favorite findings. I try to keep changing that as I find things, because you know, we're only as good as our tools and supplies. We can be really creative and really talented and have knowledge of technique, but without great supplies, you're not going to have great looking projects. So I always try to share that with you when I find something good. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up or hype my video, and you know, tap that bell so that you don't miss my upcoming videos, because I do upload a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you in the next video.